Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Friday, April 5th, 2024. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, as well as my MLB season pass, you can find those at the premium picks tab of pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here's games for Friday in Major League Baseball. First up, we see the home opener of the New York Yankees as they host the Toronto Blue Jays. Yusei Kikuchi and Marcus Stroman are your starters. This one's a 1:05 Eastern start time. Kikuchi notably struggled in spring training this year. He also wasn't his best in that season debut against the Rays. Gave up some runs, a home run, 3 walks. He had some strikeouts, 4 Ks and 4 1/3. So, that's a good sign. But I'm not really worried about Kikuchi going forward. I think he still puts together a decent season for the Blue Jays, and he actually pitched really well at Yankee Stadium against these Yankees in 2023. He faced them twice at Yankee Stadium, which is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. And in the beginning of the season, it was like 6 innings, a 1-run ball, and the Blue Jays grabbed the win 6-1. And then at the end of the season, back on September 19th, 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, only 1 run, another Blue Jays win at Yankee Stadium. And I think Kikuchi, facing a Yankees team, it's a small sample size, it's only been about a week of the season, but a Yankees team that's hitting righties a lot better than they're hitting lefties. I think Kikuchi puts together a much better outing here. Marcus Stroman was excellent in his first start as a Yankee. 6 innings of shutout baseball in terms of the earned runs. Gave up a few unearned runs, but he still was really solid at 4 strikeouts. His control was there, kept the ball on the ground, no home runs given up, and that was a 5-3 Yankees win in the end. I think Stroman pitches well yet again against a Blue Jays team offensively. It was really tough to watch them in that Astros series. They had a pretty good series offensively against the Rays, but they got shut out in the final game of the series. They got no hit in one of the games in the series. They also almost got shut out again if it wasn't for a 2-run home run to give them the win in that second game. So ugly offensive showing. I can't trust them here. Give me the under in Blue Jays Yankees. Next up, we see the Oakland Athletics taking on the Detroit Tigers. No official starter for Detroit right now because of the doubleheader. Things get a little bit confusing, but it should be Tarek Skubal going for the Tigers and JP Sears going for the A's. And if that's the case, I think it's a mismatch here on the starting pitching side, and honestly, the lineup and bullpen as well. I'm going to go with the Tigers and lay the 1.5 runs. JP Sears, somebody that I had big expectations for in 2024, and I'm not ready to give up on those expectations, but it wasn't a great start to the season, that's for sure. 3 2/3 innings, 6 base hits, 5 earned runs. He only had 1 strikeout. He gave up 2 walks, no home runs, but and he was facing a Guardians team that offensively is one of the hottest teams in baseball to start the year. But still, that was a 12-3 blowout loss for the A's. If Sears isn't perfect, it's really tough for the A's to get the job done because their offense is struggling and their bullpen's not great either. And with Detroit's bullpen in pretty good form, Skubal being one of the favorites to win the American League Cy Young, and a dark horse there who pitched really well in his season debut, got the win, didn't give up an earned run. I got to go with Detroit here at home. I just think that the A's, they had 7 home games to start the season. They go 1-6 in those ball games. Now you're going on the road. I'm going to go with the Tigers here and lay the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Chicago Cubs. Bobby Miller and Kyle Hendricks are your starters. I think Kyle Hendricks is a Wrigley Field pitcher, and it's no surprise to see him struggle in his first game of the season on the road against a very good Rangers lineup. It doesn't get much easier here against LA, but I do think pitching at Wrigley at home is going to be a much better spot for Hendricks to put together a bounce-back outing. I think he won't be perfect, but I think he'll give the Cubs 5-6 decent innings. Bobby Miller was excellent in his first start of the season. He had 6 innings of shutout ball, only 2 base hits, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts in that season debut. It was a 6-3 win for the Dodgers. Now, he was a really hot starter last year when he pitched at the beginning. He wasn't at the very beginning of the season, but towards the middle of May, they brought up Miller. He went 5 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 innings shutout, 6 innings shutout in his first 4 starts in the majors, and then he started to struggle a little bit. So I think we're going to get some value, backing either the Dodgers or the under in Bobby Miller starts in the beginning of the season at least, and potentially the entire year. I think he's a really good starting pitcher. And I'm going to go with the under here in Dodgers Cubs at Wrigley Field. We'll have to see what the weather's looking like. Obviously the weather really dictates totals at Wrigley Field, but right now I'm liking the under. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Colorado Rockies. Zach Littell and Austin Gomber are your projected starters. Now, Zach Littell doesn't have a ton of experience pitching at Coors Field, even though he was a Giant for a couple of seasons playing in the NL West. I looked it up. He had only had 1 appearance at Coors Field. It was 4 innings of work, but it was solid. Only 1 run given up. It was 1 base hit, a home run in that outing. And, I think Littell pitching how well he did in spring training and how strong he pitched in that first start. 6 innings, a shutout ball with 6 strikeouts. kept the ball on the ground, and that's the thing. He keeps the ball on the ground. He's more of a pitch-to-contact guy, but he's starting to miss some more bats. That's what's making him really dangerous right now. And, at Coors Field, you got to be able to keep the ball on the ground. You got to be able to have that control. I think Zach Littell does a good job of that. So I like him in this spot. Austin Gobber, not really my favorite starting pitching back option to back, and we saw him struggle in that first game against the Diamondbacks, 4 2/3 innings, 2 home runs, 3 walks, 6 base hits, 4 earned runs, and now is at Arizona. Now you're at Coors Field. I know he's got a lot of Coors Field experience, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Rays are just a better team here, the better starter, the better lineup, and the better bullpen, very much so the better bullpen. So give me the Rays laying the 1.5 runs, or you can take them on the money line in this Coors Field matchup. Next up, we see the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Grayson Rodriguez and Jared Jones are your starters. Got, 2 young pitchers with a lot of potential. And, while Jared Jones, the ERA on paper looks steep at 4.76, it was actually a really strong outing for the youngsters. He went, 5 2/3 innings, a 3-run ball, 10 strikeouts, and no home runs in a major league debut. You'll take that all day long. It was a 9-3 Pirates win. Grayson Rodriguez was somebody we backed a lot last year, and he was excellent in his first start of 2024. 6 innings, a 1-run, 9 strikeout baseball, and a 13-4 blowout win. So both of these starting pitchers earned blowout wins in their season debuts. In this spot, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I like the way this team is playing. The Baltimore Orioles in that Royals series, even though they won that series, the Royals were certainly the better team from the 1st to 7th inning of pretty much all those games, in my opinion. The Orioles found some rallies late. They took advantage of a pretty weak Royals bullpen, but this Pirates bullpen is a lot better. You can't afford to go down early, in my opinion, against this Pittsburgh Pirates team this year. I think Jones gives the Pirates 5 to 6 decent innings. I think the lineup gets to Grayson Rodriguez for a run or two, maybe via the home run ball, which is something that Gray Rod has struggled with in his career. Give me the Pittsburgh Pirates on the money line at home. Next up, we see the San Diego Padres taking on the San Francisco Giants. We're going to see Dylan Cease and Jordan Hicks as the projected starters. This was actually the same pitching matchup we saw last week in a March 30th game. That was a 9-6 win for San Francisco. This is the home opener here for the Giants. And even though that last game in this pitching matchup was a high-scoring one, it wasn't because of Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks was excellent in that game. 5 innings, a shutout ball with 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk. And I think he pitches well. He's been somebody that's featured mostly as a reliever in his career, reliever and closing pitcher with the Cardinals. But he gets a spot here in the starting rotation. I think he's a good option for San Francisco. Dylan Cease was okay in that first start against San Francisco. 4 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, so puts his ERA sub 4 right now. But I didn't love the fact that he was only able to go 4 2/3. He had 85 pitches, so the pitch count got way up on him. The control wasn't the best. He had a 2-to-9 ground ball to fly ball ratio, and I'd like to see him do a better job of keeping the ball on the ground. He's somebody that in his career has had some issues with the home run ball, and I think San Francisco can get to him for a few runs early in this game. I know that Giants bullpen really struggled in that 9-6 ball game. As Hicks went 5 innings, a shutout ball, and then you see him give up 6 runs, but I still think San Francisco is the better team here in the home opener. I'm going to go with the Giants on the money line. Next up is the New York Mets taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Jose Quintana and Hunter Green are your starters. Hunter Green faced the Mets last year, pitched well against them. And, Hunter Green, while he had some issues in spring training, he was solid in that first start of the regular season. 4 2/3 innings. Like I said, with Dylan Cease, the pitch count got up there a little bit early, but 7 strikeouts. The control was off a little bit. Hunter Green, somebody that is going to miss a ton of bats, is going to earn a ton of strikeouts, but sometimes gives up the occasional home run and a few walks to go with it. But against this New York Mets team, it just hasn't shown a lot of power or patience at the dish so far. I think Hunter Green pitches well. Jose Quintana, not really my favorite starting pitching option to back, as he is somebody that in that first game gave up 6 base hits in 4 2/3, 2 walks and a home run. He gave us some sharp contact against the Brewers, and that's a Brewers team that's not even known for hitting left-handed pitching very well. Cincinnati at Great American Ballpark, I think, will be able to get to Quintana. And I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Reds in this spot. The Mets playing that doubleheader on Thursday, now going to Cincinnati on Friday. Just not a great situation for a team that's already not looking great on the field. So give me the Reds on the money line. Next up, we see the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Washington Nationals. Aaron Nola and Patrick Corbin are your starters. There's no way I could back Aaron Nola at this kind of price, even on against the Nationals and even against Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin did enough in that last start for the Nationals to have a chance to win that game. I know it wasn't pretty. 4 1/3 innings, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs. But the fact of the matter is the Nationals were up 5-3 in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs in that game, and were 1 out away from cashing a plus 160 ticket for us. Of course, we know what happened in that ball game, but I still think Patrick Corbin, I think there's value backing him early in the season. Aaron Nola, in that game against the Braves, 4 1/3 innings, 11 base hits, 7 total runs, 6 of those were earned, 2 home runs. He had 3 strikeouts, but I just can't trust Nola in this start at this kind of price. The Phillies just not looking like a dominant team right now, and I can't feel comfortable laying this kind of number with Philadelphia. So give me the Washington Nationals. I'm gonna take the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Atlanta Braves. Tommy Henry and Spencer Strider are your projected starters. I do think this is going to be a pretty entertaining series, but I think at least in this first game, it's a pretty lopsided pitching matchup. Enough so where I'm going to go with the Braves and lay the 1.5 runs. Henry struggled against the Rockies. He gave up 5 earned runs and a homer, and that's not a great Rockies lineup right now, so that's a concern for me. Now you have to face the Atlanta Braves, one of the best lineups in baseball. You got one of the best starting pitchers in baseball in Spencer Strider. He went 5 innings, a 2-run ball, and 8 Ks against the Phillies. That's a pretty solid lineup, and that was a tough spot to be in on the road in Philadelphia. We know it's never easy to pitch there, so now in the home opener, I think Spencer Strider puts together a really solid outing, and it's enough for the Braves to win this game and cover the run line. I think the rest of the series should be pretty competitive and entertaining, but in this game, I think it's going to be all Atlanta. Next up is the Kansas City Royals taking on the Chicago White Sox. We're going to see Eric Fedde and Brady Singer as your starters. Another game where I think it's a lopsided pitching matchup. Singer was excellent in his season debut. I've mentioned that he's had consistency issues in the major leagues. We've seen outings like the one we saw on in his first start, where he goes 7 innings, a 10 strikeout, shutout baseball, and looks like a dominant number 1 in this rotation. We've also seen starts where he gives up 5, 6, 7 runs, a couple homers, and the control is off. Last year he pitched a lot better at Kauffman Stadium. He pitched in that first game at Kauffman Stadium. He pitches here at Kauffman. So I think he's going to pitch pretty well against a weak White Sox lineup. Like I said, it's always a little bit of a concern for some inconsistency there, but I think Singer is the much better option. He has the much better lineup to back him up against Eric Fedde, who pitched well in his season debut, but I don't expect a great season for him overall. Somebody that doesn't really miss a lot of bats. He had 7 Ks in that first start against Detroit, but the control was off. He had 2 home runs as well. I think the Royals tee off on him early, and I think the Royals win this game and cover the run line. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Texas Rangers. Always a fun series to watch, but even more fun, I think, this year with the recent results for these two teams. But Hunter Brown and Cody Bradford are your starters. This is also a rematch of the ALCS, and I think the Houston Astros may be on their way to getting back. This was a team that ugly first series. They got swept by the Yankees at home. It was blown leads. It was the bullpen struggling. It was really tough to watch, but you bounce back and you play another solid team in the Blue Jays, and you take that series 2 games to 1. You honestly should have swept the series. You blew another lead in that game in the final moments in the 9th inning, but you had the no-hitter by Blanco in a blowout win. You had the blowout win, the final game of the series. Yordan Alvarez had a huge game in that final game with 2 home runs. That was exactly what the offense needed to see. The bullpen needs to sharpen up, and I think especially in this series, it has to be. But Hunter Brown pitched well in that first game against the Yankees. 4 innings, no earned runs. He didn't pitch too deep in that ball game. The pitch count got up on him a little bit early, but still 5 strikeouts, and that's a really good lineup. He's facing another good lineup here, but he pitched well against the Rangers last season. When you look at the numbers in the postseason, in the regular season, good numbers for Hunter Brown against a really good lineup. And Cody Bradford, not really my favorite starting pitching option, especially against a lineup like Houston. When you're a lefty facing an Astros team that last year, super low strikeout rate, high walk rate, good power numbers, good OPS numbers against lefties, and we see that to start this season. It's a small sample, like I said, but so you have to tread lightly when looking at these numbers, but really high walk rate, the low K rate, exactly what you want to see from the Astros. I think they take this first game. Like I said, really entertaining series, but I'm going to go with the Astros in the first one on the money line. Next up, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Logan Gilbert and Freddie Peralta are your projected starters. I think we have a pitcher's duel on our hands in this one. I like the under. You can take the under in the first 5, but I like both these bullpens anyway, so I'm going to take the under in the full game. Logan Gilbert pitched well in his season debut. He's somebody that had some inconsistency problems last year, but 7 innings, an 8 strikeout, 1-run ball, no home runs. It's a key for me. Somebody that had given up the home run ball a little bit too much last year. I think he pitches well in this spot. And then Freddie Peralta, he had 1 mistake pitch against the Mets, and I don't even know if it was a mistake pitch. I think it was just a great approach and a great at-bat by Starling Marte. But it was a home run to Starling Marte. But other than that, 6 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. He was excellent. 3-1 Brewers win. I think we see a very similar score line, in that 3-1, 3-2 final score range. So I'm going to go with the under in Mariners Brewers. Next up, we see the Boston Red Sox taking on the Los Angeles Angels. The final game for the Friday card of Major League Baseball. Cutter Crawford and Griffin Canning are your starters. And Cutter Crawford, his first game of the season. I know it was a loss in the end for the Red Sox in extra innings. That bullpen is so-so, but his start was excellent. 6 innings of no earned run baseball. You have 1 unearned run, 7 strikeouts. His control was there. He's keeping the ball on the ground. I think he pitches well here. Like I said, the Red Sox bullpen, not the best, but the Angels bullpen, not much better, if at all. Griffin Canning on the other side struggled. He only had 2 strikeouts in 5 innings with 5 earned runs, a home run. Again, I know it was the Orioles, 13-4 loss. Makes sense. The Baltimore Orioles, a great lineup this season, but even against this Boston Red Sox team, it's looked a lot better than a lot of people expected to start the year. I got to go with Boston in this game on the money line. You can take them in the first 5 innings if you don't trust that bullpen, but I'll take them in the full game on the money line. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.